Have you ever wondered why some men, without saying much, can make a woman's heart race, while others, no matter how hard they try, always feel invisible? Please watch this video till the end, because the 10 psychological tricks I'm about to share are not just tips. They are lessons rooted in Stoicism that can transform your love life forever. Before we dive in, do me a small favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel Stoic Mysteries, and most importantly, stay with me till the last second of this video. Because who knows, one single idea here might rewrite your love story, and maybe even heal the heartbreak you've been carrying for years. Point 1. The power of emotional stillness. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in front of someone you loved so deeply, yet your heart was beating so fast that you couldn't even say the right words? You wanted to impress her, to show her how much she meant to you, but instead your nerves took over, and later lying in bed, you replayed every moment thinking, why did I say that? Why did I look so desperate? If you've ever been there, you know the pain of overthinking, and maybe, just maybe, it even cost you someone you loved. Here's the truth, my friend. Women don't fall in love with the man who tries the hardest. They fall in love with the man who makes them feel safe. And safety doesn't come from money, from status, or even from looks. It comes from emotional stillness. Imagine you're on a small boat in the middle of the ocean. If the waves are violent, if the storm is raging, would you feel safe? Of course not. But if the waters are calm, steady, and peaceful, you can relax, you can breathe. That's exactly how women experience men. If your emotions are all over the place, jealous one moment, insecure the next, overly excited after that, she feels unsafe. But when you carry yourself like calm water, when your presence says, I don't need to impress you, I don't need to beg for you, I am whole with or without you, she feels at peace. And that peace is what she will never forget. Think about your own heartbreaks. Maybe you had an ex who pulled away, and the more you chased her, the faster she ran. The texts got longer, your calls got desperate, and every unanswered message felt like a knife in the chest. Do you remember those nights staring at the phone, wishing she would just reply once? That pain was your storm, and storms don't attract, they scare away. But here's the secret. When you master emotional stillness, you master attraction. You don't crumble if she takes longer to reply. You don't beg if she says she's busy. You don't explode when things don't go your way. Instead, you breathe, you stay grounded, and she feels something most men never give her: emotional safety. So let me ask you, were you the storm in your last relationship? Or were you the calm? Did she feel overwhelmed by your energy or anchored by it? The lesson is simple but life-changing. When you find stillness within yourself, she will find love within you. Because at the end of the day, the heart doesn't fall for chaos, it falls for peace. Point 2, the mystery of silence. Let me take you back to your very first crush. Do you remember how exciting it was? The butterflies in your stomach, the way just one smile could keep you awake at night. But think about this. Why did you feel so strongly? It wasn't because you knew everything about her. In fact, it was the opposite. You didn't know much at all. And it was that mystery that made your imagination go wild. This is where most men fail today. They meet a woman, and within hours, they reveal everything: where they live, what they do, their dreams, their fears. They talk and talk, hoping that the more they share, the more she'll like them. But here's the truth. Mystery is the flame that keeps attraction alive. The Stoics knew this well. They believed that silence, when used with wisdom, speaks louder than words. And women? They're not drawn to a man who explains himself endlessly. They're drawn to the man who leaves her curious. Think about your past heartbreak. Maybe your ex once told you, you're too predictable. Maybe she lost interest because she felt like she already knew everything about you. And that silence you now carry in your chest, that hole she left behind, is a reminder. Attraction doesn't die because of hate, it dies because of boredom. Now imagine this. You're on a date, and instead of explaining every detail, you let silence linger for a second. She says, "Why are you smiling?" And you simply reply, "Nothing, just a thought." Do you know what happens next? She will chase your thought. She will lean in, desperate to know what's in your mind. That's the power of silence. It invites her imagination to do the work for you. Psychologically, this is irresistible. Why? Because what's left unsaid is always more powerful than what's explained. When you pause before answering, when you tell half the story but not the whole thing, when you smile without explaining why, that mystery keeps her hooked. And let's be honest, aren't your best love memories filled with curiosity? The late night texts where she asked, What are you thinking? The moments where her eyes searched yours, waiting for an answer you never gave. That feeling, that thrill is what women crave. So ask yourself, are you leaving room for her imagination? Or are you exhausting her with words? Are you the book she wants to keep turning? Or the billboard she glances at once and forgets? Here's the painful truth. Your ex may have left, not because you weren't good enough, but because you revealed yourself too fast. Love needs space to breathe. Mystery is oxygen. Without it, attraction suffocates. Remember this, silence is not emptiness, it's presence. It's confidence. It's the whisper that keeps her coming back again and again. Point 3, the gift of attention. Let me ask you this. When was the last time someone truly listened to you? Not the kind of listening where they nod and check their phone. Not the kind where they wait for you to finish so they can talk about themselves. But the kind of listening where you felt seen. Do you remember how that felt? Almost magical, right? Now here's the truth. Women crave that feeling even more. A woman doesn't fall in love with the man who says the sweetest lines. She falls in love with the man who makes her feel like the only person in the world when she's speaking. And that, my friend, is the gift of attention. Maybe in your past you lost someone because you weren't fully present. Think about it. Did your ex ever tell you, "You don't understand me"? Those words cut like a knife, don't they? But what she really meant was, "You don't hear me." And not being heard is one of the most painful forms of rejection. Attention is not about staring at her. It's about diving into her words. When she tells you about her childhood, don't just smile and nod. Ask, what was your happiest memory back then? When she shares her fears, don't brush them off. Hold them like they matter. Because to her, they do matter. Psychologically, when you give her deep attention, something powerful happens. She bonds with you. Her brain starts linking your presence with safety and understanding, and that bond is stronger than looks, money, or charm. Think about your own heartbreak for a moment. Remember those nights after the breakup, when you replayed conversations in your mind, wishing you had listened more carefully, wishing you had paid more attention, instead of being distracted by your own ego or problems. That regret is heavy, but it's also a lesson that attention is the rarest form of love. And here's the beautiful part. When you master the art of attention, you don't just win her heart, you heal yourself too. Because when you stop trying to always be interesting, and instead choose to be interested, the pressure lifts. You don't have to perform, you just have to be there. So I'll ask you, next time you're with her, will you scroll your phone and half listen? Or will you give her your full presence? Will you make her feel like just another woman or like the only woman in the world? Because in the end, love doesn't live in big gestures. Love lives in the moments where one soul feels truly heard by another. And that, my friend, is the greatest gift you can give. Point 4, the confidence of detachment. Now let's talk about one of the hardest lessons love will ever teach. The power of detachment. You see, the men who love the hardest often suffer the most. Maybe you know this pain all too well. The late-night begging texts, the constant checking of last seen, the ache in your chest when she doesn't reply. You thought loving harder would make her stay. But instead, the more you clung to her, the further she slipped away. Here's the paradox. Women don't fall in love with the man who needs them desperately. They fall in love with the man who chooses them, but doesn't depend on them. And that's what detachment is. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean coldness, silence, or pushing her away. It means you love her freely without fear of losing yourself. You want her, yes, but you don't collapse if she leaves. That kind of inner confidence is magnetic. Think of your ex again. Remember how you felt when she started pulling away? Every fiber in your body screamed to chase her, to hold on tighter. But what happened? The tighter you held, the quicker she ran. That heartbreak you carry today is your teacher. It whispers to you that desperation kills attraction, but detachment creates respect. Psychologically, this is powerful. When you live with detachment, your energy shifts. She senses that you are whole, with or without her, and that very wholeness makes her want you more. Because every woman longs for a man who can love her deeply, but never loses himself in the process. Picture this, you're dating someone new. Instead of flooding her with messages all day, you give her space. Instead of overreacting when she's busy, you focus on your own growth, your own mission, and when you finally meet, she feels something different. She feels like she has to earn your time. And that, my friend, is where respect and attraction grow. Now let me ask you, Were you detached in your last love story, or were you desperate? Did she feel drawn to your energy, or did she feel suffocated by your need? Here's the painful truth. The heartbreak you've endured was not meant to break you. It was meant to teach you detachment. To show you that love given freely without chains is the only love that lasts. So remember this. Confidence is not saying, I don't need anyone. Confidence is saying, I choose to love you, but I will still be whole if you walk away. That strength, that calmness, that self-respect, it's what separates the forgettable men from the unforgettable ones. And that, my friend, is the true confidence of detachment. Point 5, the power of challenge. Let me ask you something. Why do people chase mountains, not sidewalks? Why do we climb, sweat, and risk our lives to reach the peak of a mountain while nobody brags about walking down the street? The answer is simple. We value what challenges us. And love, my friend, is no different. Think back to your ex for a moment. In the beginning, maybe she laughed at your jokes, leaned into your stories, admired your energy, but slowly, something changed. She grew distant. The spark faded, and you were left wondering what went wrong. Did I do something wrong? Wasn't I giving her everything? Yes, you gave her everything, but maybe that was the problem. You gave your heart too quickly. You became too easy to win, and what is easily won is easily forgotten. Here's the truth. Women don't want a man they can control. They want a man they can respect. And respect comes when you are willing to challenge her. Now, don't get me wrong. Challenge doesn't mean arguing, being rude, or playing games. It means having the courage to be yourself, even when it risks disagreement. When she says all men are the same, you don't just nod. You smile and reply, not true. You just haven't met the right ones yet. When she says, I hate all movies, you don't surrender. You tease, come on, there must be at least one movie that made you cry. That tiny spark of challenge creates tension. And tension, my friend, is where attraction lives. Think of it like this. If you agree with everything she says, if you never stand your ground, you're not being real. You're being a shadow, and shadows never win hearts. Now let's look back at your heartbreak. Did she perhaps lose interest because she stopped seeing you as a challenge? Did she stop trying to win your validation because you handed it over too easily? If so, that pain wasn't just heartbreak, it was a lesson. The Stoics remind us, never bend your truth for approval, because the moment you do, you lose yourself. And once you lose yourself, no one can truly love you. So here's my question to you. Do you want to be a sidewalk walked over and forgotten? Or do you want to be the mountain that she dreams of climbing over and over again? Because here's the secret. Love that lasts is not built on comfort, it's built on challenge. And when you become a man who can challenge with respect, you won't just attract her heart. You'll keep it. Point 6. The art of self-mastery. Have you ever asked yourself, how can a woman trust you with her heart if you can't even control your own mind? This, my friend, is the art of self-mastery. Think of your own heartbreaks. Were there moments where jealousy took over? Where anger exploded? Where insecurity made you beg, text, overthink? Did those moments slowly poison the love you once had? That pain you carry is the answer. Without self-mastery, love crumbles. Women don't fall in love with men who are controlled by their emotions. They fall in love with men who command themselves. A Stoic man doesn't let jealousy dictate his words. He doesn't let fear chain his actions. He doesn't let laziness kill his purpose. Instead, he rises each day with discipline, with control, with direction. Think about it. If you lose your temper easily, how safe will she feel with you? If you collapse under stress, how much can she rely on you? If you drown in distractions, how long before she feels invisible? Self-mastery is rare because most men chase women instead of chasing excellence. But here's the truth. When you chase excellence, women chase you. Let me tell you something powerful. A woman once said, I don't need a man who gives me the world. I need a man who can handle his own world. That's what self-mastery is. It's not about being perfect, it's about being steady. Think back again to your love story. Maybe your ex left because she felt your energy wasn't stable. Maybe she lost faith in your ability to lead, to protect, to guide, not with money or gifts, but with emotional strength. And yes, that pain cut deep, but it was also your wake-up call. The Stoics live by discipline. They believe that the man who conquers himself is stronger than the man who conquers cities. And they were right. Because when you can master your own emotions, your own desires, your own impulses, you become unshakable. And that energy is irresistible. So let me ask you this, are you the master of your emotions or are you their slave? Do you control your anger or does it control you? Do you lead your thoughts or do they drag you into despair? Here's the secret. When you master yourself, you don't just become attractive, you become unforgettable. Because a woman may forget a man who made her laugh, but she will never forget the man who made her feel safe, steady, and guided. So remember this, my friend. Self-mastery isn't just the path to success. It's the path to love that lasts. And if you want her heart, start by mastering your own. Point 7, the power of presence in pain. Let me ask you something straight from the heart. Have you ever tried to hide your pain from someone you loved? You smiled, you laughed, you said, "I'm fine," when deep inside you were breaking. Do you remember that heavy silence after the breakup, lying awake at night, your chest burning with the weight of everything you couldn't say? We men are taught to hide our pain, to be strong, unshaken, silent. But here's the truth. Women don't fall in love with the mask you wear. They fall in love with the man who has the courage to be present with his pain and still stand tall. Think of your own heartbreak. Maybe she left without explanation. Maybe you begged for closure but never got it. That emptiness, that ache, it felt like the world was ending. But here's where Stoicism teaches us something powerful. Pain is not an enemy. Pain is a teacher. And when you embrace it instead of running from it, you become magnetic. Why? Because presence in pain shows strength. Imagine you're with a woman and she asks you about your past. You don't hide it. You say, "Yes, I've known heartbreak. I've been broken before, but it taught me patience. It taught me how to love better." Do you see what happens there? You're not whining. You're not bitter. You're standing in your scars with pride. That combination of vulnerability and strength is irresistible. Because let's be honest, no woman wants a man who pretends he's never been hurt. She wants a man who's walked through fire and still stands with calm eyes. A man who can say, "Yes, I've known pain, but I am greater than my pain." Think about your past love stories. Maybe you tried to cover your heartbreak by acting tough, by pretending you didn't care. But deep down she felt the wall. She couldn't reach your real heart. And maybe that wall is what cost you the intimacy you craved. The truth is, presence in pain creates connection. When you dare to say, "I hurt, but I survived," you open a door for her to trust you. Because if you can stand with your own pain, you can stand with hers. And that is what women truly desire. Not perfection, not flawless strength, but a man who can hold space for suffering without running away. So ask yourself, are you still running from the pain of your past? Or have you learned to sit with it, to own it, to let it shape you into someone stronger? Because here's the paradox. The more present you are in your pain, the less control pain has over you. And that, my friend, is where true love begins. Point 8, the aura of purpose. Now let's talk about something most men miss: purpose. Tell me honestly, did you ever lose yourself in a relationship? You stopped chasing your dreams, stopped focusing on your growth, stopped living for yourself. She became your whole world. Every thought, every plan, every moment revolved around her. And at first she loved the attention. But slowly something changed. She grew distant. The fire faded. And one day she was gone. And you were left broken, asking, why wasn't I enough? The answer is painful but clear. No woman wants to be your purpose. She wants to join a man who already has purpose. This is where Stoicism drops a truth bomb. The man with purpose is magnetic. Not because he chases women, but because he chases life. His eyes carry fire. His voice carries conviction. His steps carry direction. And women can't resist that kind of energy because it's rare. Think of it this way. If your life is empty without her, you become heavy. You drag her down. But if your life is already full, with dreams, goals, discipline, passion, she feels pulled into your orbit. She feels inspired, not burdened. And that inspiration is more powerful than any sweet words you could ever say. Think back to your heartbreak. Did she leave because she felt she was your only reason for living? Did she grow tired of carrying the weight of being your everything? That pain you feel is a harsh but beautiful lesson. Love cannot be your only purpose. Imagine this instead. You're a man with a mission. You rise early, chase excellence, build your craft, sharpen your mind. You don't wait for her text to feel alive. You already live with fire. And when she sees that, she doesn't just want to be with you, she wants to be part of your journey. Psychologically, this is irresistible, because women don't fall for the man who needs them to feel complete. They fall for the man who is already complete and invites them to share his fullness. So let me ask you right now, if she walked into your life today and asked, "What's your mission?" What are you building? Could you answer with confidence? Or would you stand in silence realizing you lost your purpose long ago? Here's the truth, my friend. Purpose is not just about success. It's about identity. It's about standing in this world and saying, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. And when you live like that, women don't just notice you, they respect you. Because love isn't about being her world. It's about inviting her into yours. And that, my friend, is the aura of purpose. Point 9, the rejection paradox. Let me ask you a raw question. Do you remember the first time a woman rejected you? Maybe she never replied to your text. Maybe she said, you're a good guy, but I don't feel that way about you. Or maybe worse, she once loved you, but later looked into your eyes and said it was over. That pain, that sting, it stays with you. Rejection feels like proof that you're not enough. You replay the memories at night. Was it something I said? Was I too much? Was I not enough? And the more you think about it, the smaller you feel. But here's where Stoicism reveals something that almost no one understands: the rejection paradox. See, the moment you fear rejection, you give away your power. You walk on eggshells, you overthink, you try too hard to please her. And ironically, that's exactly when she loses interest, because she can feel that you're afraid to lose her. And nothing kills attraction faster than fear. Now here's the paradox: when you stop fearing rejection, when you accept it as a natural part of life, you actually become irresistible. Think of it like this. A woman is drawn to the man who can look her in the eye and say, I like you, I desire you, but if you're not the one, I'll still be fine. My life will still be full. That calm detachment is magnetic. Why? Because it shows self-respect. Let's connect this to your own heartbreak. Remember the girl who left you? You thought losing her meant losing your world. But look at you now, you survived. You're still here, breathing, learning, growing. That pain taught you something priceless. Rejection doesn't kill you, it strengthens you. So the next time you feel the sting of being ignored, ghosted, or left behind, pause and remember this paradox. The man who runs from rejection becomes weak, but the man who embraces rejection becomes free. Imagine the difference. One man begs, please don't leave me. Another man says calmly, if you go, I'll wish you well. Which man do you think she remembers forever? Exactly, the one who carried himself with strength in the face of rejection. So my friend, let me ask you, are you still haunted by the rejection of your ex? Or will you use it as fuel to rise stronger, to walk into love without fear, to show women that your value doesn't depend on their yes or no? That is the rejection paradox. The moment you stop needing acceptance, you become the man every woman wants to accept. Point 10, the Stoic secret to lasting intimacy. Now let's go deeper than attraction, deeper than desire. Let's talk about intimacy. Not just kisses, not just passion. I'm talking about the kind of intimacy that survives storms, heartbreaks, even years of struggle. Let me ask you, have you ever been close to someone only to feel them slipping away? At first you laughed for hours, shared secrets, felt like soulmates. But slowly the spark faded. She stopped texting back as fast. Conversations grew shallow. And one day you realized you were strangers again. That pain cuts deeper than rejection. Because it wasn't that you weren't chosen. It's that you were chosen and then lost. But here's where Stoicism whispers a secret about lasting intimacy. True intimacy isn't built on constant excitement. It's built on calm, steady presence. You see, passion is fire. It burns bright, but without discipline, it burns out. Stoic love is different. It's like a flame protected by glass, steady, enduring, unshaken by every wind. And women crave this more than they admit. Think about your last heartbreak. Maybe you smothered her with too much need. Or maybe you grew careless, taking her for granted. Both destroy intimacy. But Stoicism teaches balance, not clinging, not neglecting, simply being present. Imagine this. Instead of chasing her with desperation, you bring calm. Instead of losing yourself in her, you stand rooted in who you are. Instead of demanding her attention, you offer your presence. That presence creates safety. And safety is the soil where intimacy grows. Because here's the truth. Women don't want a man who just excites them. They want a man who grounds them. A man who can hold their fears, their tears, their chaos, and still stay calm. That's the kind of man a woman trusts with her heart. And when a woman trusts you that deeply, intimacy lasts. So let me ask you, what killed your last love story? Was it your fear of losing her? Was it your inability to stay calm when fights came? Or maybe your silence when she needed reassurance? Those mistakes are common, but they are not final. The Stoic secret is simple. Intimacy is not about possession, but presence. Not about control, but connection. Not about needing her, but choosing her again and again with calm strength. So my friend, if you want a love that doesn't fade, don't chase fireworks. Build a steady fire. Let her see you strong in storms, gentle in silence, rooted in who you are. Because when passion fades, and it always does, it is presence that remains. And that presence is what makes love last a lifetime. And there you have it, 10 psychological tricks to make any woman fall in love with you through the lens of Stoicism. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.